However, Soujuuro had not seen fit to tell them that it was one of the only dishes in his limited repertoire.
Yeah.
For a bachelor, the ability to cook is as close to a superpower as one could get.
Facts.
True story. 15 years into the future, it would likely become a highly desirable trait.
Written from the future.
Yeah,
This is Nasu just looking back on things.
Says Nasu.
Yeah.
And like, man, I've gotten so much action because I know how to cook.
I think he's just means Fate's Day night 15 years from now.
I mean that too.
Yeah. House husband Shiro.
Regardless, that misunderstanding had led Aoko and Alice to overestimate Soujuuro's culinary talents. Her ire finally made sense to Soujuuro.
わかった。自腹を切るから出前を取ろう。作るにしても材料がないからな。
Do you have the money for that?
それは回収する。
Aoko basked in her victory. It was then, after seeing Soujuuro's face as he went to fetch the delivery menu, Aoko realized her misreading of him. What annoyed Aoko most was the fact that such little effort was put into dinner. But to Soujuuro, this dinner had not been about cutting corners, but rather about a meal he had legitimately wanted to try. Aoko ruminated on how it could probably pass as food for someone raised in the mountains.
That's how she views it, huh?
And then...
Alice, 何してるの?
Eating. Aoko noticed Alice standing near the table, holding one of the bowls tightly.
もうそれはいいんだってば。宗十郎に返してきちんとした出前にしましょう。
Despite Aoko's words, Alice stood her ground, firmly clutching the bowl. In fact, she seemed to be embracing it.
これ、私のだから。
Mine. Alice's faint voice drifted across the sunroom. And just like that, the night's menu had been decided by majority rule. Aoko's shoulders sank in disappointment at her lot that evening. Come to think of it, Alice was always peculiar about things she deemed were hers. It was morning, and there were 10 days left in December.
Almost Christmas, then?
That's almost accurate, even. That's so close to being accurate.
Wow.
It's like 5 days off.
Yeah.
While the rest of the city was preparing for Christmas festivities, Soujuuro headed to his part-time job. Though it looked like it could snow at any minute, the tree-lined streets were bustling with people. These days were particularly merry. Students on winter break spent their days hanging out with friends, while they counted down the days until seasonal holidays. A flashy banner for Christmas cakes, huge advertisements adorning the building fronts for KFC.
Yeah.
The station plaza bustling with pop-up stalls.
That's a payphone, huh?
From among the crowd in this heaving district, Soujuuro stepped into a phone booth. Safe from the winter wind, the inside seemed warm by comparison.
Well, yeah, just not having the wind on you helps.
The thought that it would actually be nice to have one in the mountains crossed his mind as he inserted a coin into the phone. I can't help but... You see where it says 10 moon rune there?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like 10 yen a minute.
Or there's another 10. Maybe it's like 10 yen 10 minutes?
I mean, that would be like a cent for 10 minutes.
Well, in the 80s, I don't know how much they really care.
Even here, that was 25 cents a minute in the 80s for payphones.
I don't know.
After about 5 seconds, the phone began to ring. Another 5 seconds, another ring. Another 5 seconds. 10 seconds had passed. Yes, we understand how 5 plus 5 works. He gazed through the window at the various signs on the surrounding buildings and marveled at the sheer number of people out and about so early. The number he dialed was that of Tobimaru Tsukiji.
Oh.
The Tsukiji name was well known in Misaki as a distinguished landowning family going back generations.
Right.
Incidentally, their residence was located in the neighboring town of Yashirogi.
Ah, okay, yeah.
The ringtone was finally replaced by the kind voice of an elderly woman. After her polite greeting, she handed over the phone to Soujuuro's target.
おはよう、飛び丸。
はい。おはよ
He was still half asleep, or so it sounded to Soujuuro.
一つ相談があるんだけど、いいか
No. Click.
う。陽気に計らえ。
Dashu.
Yeah.
His response did not exactly inspire confidence in Soujuuro, but he cut right to the chase. That's a 100 at the. It's at least 100 at the end.
So maybe it's like 10
100
minutes, 100
yen for 10 minutes, but that's
$1.
that's a okay. No, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe, but still, that's like 10 cents a minute, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not too bad.
I mean, that's what I used to pay on my cell phone back in the day, but like, payphones were always like 25 cents a minute. Oh yeah, for anybody that doesn't know this, it used to be that we had public phones that you could
Yes.
walk up to and insert coins into, and then make phone calls for very limited amounts of time.
Yeah.
And then eventually we got cell phones, but you didn't just have unlimited talk.
No.
You paid per minute because fuck you.
Yeah, there were all these plans limiting how much you could use it and
Yeah,
stuff.
not only that, but the plans were wildly inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it was like, okay, you're going to pay X amount per minute, just that's it. But then sometimes it was like, you're going to pay X amount per minute, but less X amount per minute. But you also have an upfront charge every day that the phone is on.
Oh.
So like, it was like, okay, so it's like $1 a day, but then like 10 cents a minute. Which if you made like a fuck ton of calls, ended up being cheaper than it just being like 25 cents a minute. But, you know. And then you also used to have to pay per text.
Oh,
but even
yes.
before that, you had to pay per character in a text. Which is where text speak came from.
Yeah, trying to limit the
Because
number
we
of
were
characters.
trying to limit
be
the number
cheap.
of characters we were sending
Yeah.
to as few as possible so as to spend the least amount of money.
It's ridiculous. Oh, I remember all that.
Ah.
My school had a payphone in it because back
So
then.
yeah, so did mine.
I
Like,
used it because I didn't have a cell phone.
I literally have somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is right now, but I have a like a thing on a keyring that they handed out to us in high school. It was like this little blue thing with like our high school, like, you know, like our mascot emblem logo thingy on it, right? And it had two like slide-in slots for quarters.
Oh.
So that you could keep like a couple minutes of call time on you at all times.
Right.
In case you had to like make an emergency call or something.
Yeah. Yep.
And I did have to do that a couple times. I had to like go during lunch. I'm like, Mom, I've just realized I left my book for like, I don't know, math or something. Could you like grab that and drop that off at the office for me? Thanks. Yeah. it
Good
was a
times.
thing.
Not really, but.
He was hard to read from this end of the receiver.
あのな、んな単純なことで俺を起こすな。
Well, you
Yeah.
shouldn't still be sleeping.
いいか、宗十郎。仲が悪けりゃ遊びに行け。機嫌を取りたきゃいいとこ見せろ。で、それに合わなきゃ早めに手を切れ。俺ができるアドバイスはそんなもんだ。
This guy.
If she's mad at you, buy her love.
And if
If
that, doesn't work, dump her. Man, this guy.
This fucking dude.
Oh, wow.
And with a piece, Tobimaru hung up.
Is that really how he ended his call?
It may have been 10 in the morning to Soujuuro, but after dealing with what seemed like a 6 o'clock Tobimaru, all he could do was accept his advice. See, he's talking about the people being out early. I'm like, oh, it must be like 5 or 6 in the morning. No, it's 10 a.m.
Well, for here, yeah. But what we know is Tobimaru apparently spends all night out or something like that, so he probably just got home.
He could say all he liked about the guy's tone, but deep down he knew that his advice was sound. After the phone ordeal, Soujuuro finished up his shopping and returned to the mansion just before noon. He was greeted by the sight of Aoko and Alice sitting in silent gloom.
Okay.
Though-
They can't pay the power bill?
Though unsure of the circumstances, from the outside looking in, it seemed like the aftermath of an argument.
Oh boy.
It was similar to the calm after a violent blizzard accompanied by biting winds and stinging hail. Don't you talk to me about that. You don't fucking know. Nasu doesn't fucking know.
He might. Maybe he lived in Hokkaido.
Somebody look up a fucking biography of Nasu and tell me if he lived in Hokkaido.
We don't actually know his real name or anything.
Somebody look up Nasu's real name, then look up a biography and tell me if he lived in Hokkaido.
Yeah, good luck with that. Dude is, like, very private.
It's gonna... Listen, he's gonna fuck up eventually. Abek and Bun Bun fucked up eventually.
Yeah.
Or more accurately, one of their agents fucked up eventually.
It's rough.
Yeah. Like, that's how we figured out for sure they were the same person, even though we pretty much already knew that. Because, I mean,
Looking at the art style.
Look at SAO and then look at MHX. Like, this was not a question that they were the same individual. Or a similar atmosphere to the inside of an industrial freezer. It would not have been surprising to look up and see icicles hanging from the ceiling.
やっぱり今日もか
He felt like a zookeeper, pained to see the raccoon and penguin at each other's throats.
Raccoon and penguin?
Why are
Aoko
you keeping the raccoon in the penguin exhibit?
I guess he just means Aoko is like, well, it might have been like Tanuki, but they didn't know.
Why would you keep a tanuki in a penguin exhibit?
I think he might just be comparing what kinds of animals he sees them as.
What is a forest creature and what is from the fucking Arctic?
I know, but like Alice is the ice queen and Aoko is the wild animal, I guess.
Soujuuro found himself staring at them with the familiar forlorn look of a zookeeper. Needless to say, the silence meant they were not fighting at this moment.
True.
Dinner served as a respite from the infighting, so he served them a microwave burger from White Castle.
No. It's time for Hot Pockets. Hot Pocket dinner.
Soujuuro was... No, this was the 80s. It's like, Bagel Bites or Totina's Pizza Rolls.
Chef Boyardee.
Chef Boyardee.
Right out of the can.
Yep. Soujuuro was oblivious to the circumstances surrounding the quarrel, but their day in, day out battles against the mysterious mage was clearly taking a toll.
Oh, yeah, I guess they're fighting over that still.
And again, Alice always looks grumpy, so...
Well...
Facing a quiet and contemplative Aoko, Alice was reading an old book, now sat on her lap, as she was accustomed to. The book seemed somehow heavier than the other ones.
Tadaima. 煮詰まってるな、ここんところ。
Ah yes, in time for truce.
Oh wow, he's actually just saying that out loud?
煮詰まるぐらい事態が進んでるならまだ面白みもあるんでしょうけどね。今の御用よ、Soujuuro.
Oh, the war is still waging?
This is a ceasefire at best. Without quite knowing what Aoko was getting at, Soujuuro quizzically tilted his head. He told himself not to think too hard into it, but he could not entirely help it. That's what I keep telling my dad about Haruhi. Just don't think about it too hard.
Oh, yeah.
Stop trying to make sense of Haruhi. It's much more amusing when you just don't try to understand anything.
煮詰まってるってことはもうじき完成ってことでしょ。進展がないって意味合いなら行き詰まってると言うべきね。
Seemingly too preoccupied to scold Soujuuro, Aoko waved her hand as though shooing off an insect. But Soujuuro being Soujuuro.
Yeah.
じゃあ言い直して。
Alright, let me rephrase
あれから
that.
進展はあったかい?
Soujuuro wasn't willing to give up and held his ground.
Soujuuroには関係ないわ。
I mean, it kind of is, because once you deal with that mage, then presumably you're going to wipe my memories. So I'd like to know where we're at with that.
こっちの事情に関しては不可侵だって言わなかった?
Her response was calm, but sharp. Surliness was her weapon of choice, and today she seemed determined to swing it at will.
もちろん聞いてる。ところで、お昼はまだだろ?
Hey, y'all have dinner yet? I brought some fancy new dinner from work.
Yeah.
We call it Uncrustables. Soujuuro chose to brush off Aoko's attitude. If Aoko's weapon was surliness, Soujuuro's was blindness. Speaking of Uncrustables, I was at the store the other day, and I discovered a new, like, what to me at least is a new flavor of them. And I'm like, where the fuck have you been all my life?
Which ones?
It was hazelnut spread and peanut butter.
Wait, the hazelnut didn't replace the peanut butter? It was hazelnut, like Nutella and peanut butter?
Yeah, it was like Nutella and peanut butter.
Oh, jeez. That sounds heavy.
I'm looking at it, I'm like...
It wasn't like Nutella and jelly?
No, it was Nutella and peanut butter. I'm like,
oh.
Where have you been all my... Where were you when I was still eating Uncrustables? Fuck off. All I got was heckin' grape and...
Strawberry.
Like grape and strawberry with peanut butter. Get out of here. Where's my Nutella ones? God damn you. And he wielded just enough to make Aoko flinch.
どうしたの今日は？何かいいことでもあったわけ？
Soujuuro shrugged his shoulders.
まだなんだ。じゃあ、ちょっと提案がある。
He said, as he dug around in the pocket of his now hung-up coat.
Uh-huh.
Aoko gave a puzzled stare, while Alice's ears perked up at how positive he sounded.
実は今日、給料日だったんだ。お金も入ったことだし、外に遊びに行こう。
I got paid, which means I have money, in case you didn't know how jobs work. Since I don't know, neither of you have one. Anyway, we're going out. He spoke with a warm smile as he removed his wallet from his coat pocket. Why, though? If you're going out, you're just gonna put the coat back on.
Well, I guess they're not going out yet, but...
The other two didn't know what to make of it.
Soujuuro.
She wanted to take exception to his bright mood, but found herself wrestling with the idea of reacting positively to it. After all, he was making a gesture of good faith by trying to make things better with what little funds he had. The thought itself wasn't a bad one. And she wanted to accept his earnest goodwill, but there was always the chance that Alice would keep quiet until the slightest thing annoyed her, at which point she would dash all their plans. However, she wasn't in the mood to walk around town with either of the two, nor was the timing ideal.
悪いけど、今忙しいの。暇になったら思い出してあげるから、しばらく我慢して。
Oh, that's not too bad.
Sorry, one-time offer.
Hmm.
Alice seemed to give the same response, though wordlessly. Soujuuro was not about to be held back by the sullen mood.
忙しいって、ここで黙り合ってるだけじゃないか。
Fuck yeah, you're not busy.
Yeah.
徹夜漬けの時、気分転換は必要だって言ったのは青崎だろ。行き詰まったら回り右して戻らないとどこにも行けない。
If you do something unusual, you might find a new lead or something, you know?
Soujuuro spoke with unusual confidence as he drew 2 tickets from his wallet and slapped them on the table.
Only 2, huh? Is this just him and Aoko then?
I got you tickets to SeaWorld. You can go and see Shamu.
Yay.
Shamu is their family name, by the way.
Oh.
They're all called Shamu.
Are they?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I've only been to a SeaWorld one time.
Huh.
And it was in San Diego, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, the big one.
And so somehow my parents got suckered into, they had like a dinner with Shamu thing that you could do.
Okay.
Which was like a buffet that had like Kraft mac and cheese and orca-shaped cookies. It was a very disappointing buffet. Yeah. It was like $70 a person.
Oh my god.
And somehow they got suckered into this because my sister wanted to. And so we're at this dinner and they're introducing these whales.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, oh, well, which one's Shamu? And there's this pause and the trainer goes, oh, they're all Shamu. Shamu's their family name. We have Ulysses Shamu and Baby Shamu. And I was like, and I just hear my dad is seething in the chair. I just hear him going, bogus whale, bogus whale!
He thought it was like going to see a famous whale or something.
So yeah, Shamu is a bogus whale. It's their family name.
Nice.
There is no Shamu. Shamu is a sham.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
At first glance, they looked like advance tickets to a movie, but not quite. They were tickets to a famous aquarium. To get there, they would take the rapid train and subway to a city several times more modern than Misaki.
Tokyo? Where else would there be a famous aquarium in Japan in the 80s?
Fuyuki.
Akihabara?
They're going to Fuyuki.
I don't think that had an aquarium.
Not after the Fourth Grail War.
Well, yeah, maybe.
City that housed the biggest shopping mall in the prefecture, set to open next year, as well as so it doesn't house the biggest mall in the prefecture.
Well, it's still being constructed, but yeah.
As well as a multi-purpose auditorium big enough to stage international conferences and famous plays.
Like Broadway productions, I guess.
Who holds a conference in an auditorium instead of like a conference center?
Yeah, I don't quite get that one.
それと、夜は飯屋でカレーでも食べてくれ。
Oh, wait. Hang on.
Saying that, he slapped 2 bills on the table, as if he'd struck it rich. It was Soujuuro's turn to make dinner tonight, after all.
じゃあ、そういうことで。
Anyway, bye! Finished saying his piece, Soujuuro returned his wallet to his coat pocket. It was then that Aoko realized what Soujuuro meant by BCing you.
Yeah, he got tickets for you too.
今日はアルバイト。
I've got work.
Jeez.
I have to pay for these tickets somehow.
Yeah.
Soujuuro was almost too quick with his response, helping Aoko to see things for what they really were. So anyway, I came home to drop off these tickets, and now I'm leaving to go back to work, but I'm not taking my coat for some reason.
Is he leaving the house right now, or just going upstairs?
I don't know. He's never very clear about these things.
That's fine.
Rather than for Soujuuro's benefit, his gesture was instead an attempt to ease the tension that had built up between Aoko and Alice, because Tobimaru said to buy them shit, and it would make things better, and if it didn't, to dump them.
Yeah.
Though if asked, both girls would tell you it was an unnecessary gesture. However, for him to pay this much attention to the household, if anything, gave Aoko reason to reflect on her own immaturity. Aoko glanced over to the still-seated Alice. At the same time, Alice peeked up at Aoko from behind her book. They kept still, staring at each other.
私は構わないけど、今やれることは全部やってあるし。そうね。そういうことならせっかくだし。
Right here.
I mean, he already bought the tickets and everything. Alice stood up from the sofa, resigned to her decision. Soujuuro watched on, a satisfied smile on his face. I did good.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, as Aoko and Alice were done getting ready, Aoko called out to Soujuuro in the drawing room.
それじゃあ出かけてくるから、あんたもバイト。Soujuuro?
Soujuuro was crouched in front of the television, unaware that the two had entered the room.
もしかしてビデオいじってるの？
ああ、ちょうどよかった。青崎、これ。
As he turned to face them, he froze.
Oh, going out clothes, huh?
Nice necklace?
Yeah.
Also, Aoko thighs save lives, apparently. And facing them only exacerbated the problem. There was now a dent in his pants.
私たちお言葉に甘えて出かけてくるけど、どうしたのよ一体。棚の後ろに落とし物でもしたの？
Soujuuro appeared to have gone stiff. Racing. Aoko stared at him curiously. though Alice silently nodded along with his bizarre reaction. She also kept her thoughts to herself.
I see.
It's working. Excellent.
いや、なんかこう。
Still gawking, his voice stuck in his throat. He was blissfully unaware that the shock he was experiencing was the direct result of his emotional state.
それじゃわからないってば。まったく落ち着いてるくせに妙に挙動不審なんだから、アリスに煙たがられても仕方ないっていうか。
Like I said, does Alice have something on her face? Like, it's not possible you have anything.
Does Alice have something on her face or what? Oh yeah, she's got these beautiful eyes and this cute little nose. And... Sorry, what was I saying? Alice looked on in silence. Yes, please, tell me all about the beautiful things I have on my face. He was not confused or in a daydream, that much he could tell. But this frozen look was, by all accounts, a first for Soujuuro.
Huh. His hormones kicked in or
それ
something?
で何かあったの？
I see pretty girl, my brain stopped work.
Yeah.
ああ、いや、これなんだけど、青崎、ビデオってどう使うんだ？
Shaking his head to regain his composure, Soujuuro pointed to the VCR. A VHS player sat on a shelf behind the TV. What?
Well, it's not really behind the TV, it's underneath the TV. Oh, beneath, yeah.
Also that, but like... I'm confused.
The Sanny TV.
Well, they started with Aoko, like, questioning him if the VCR was on the fritz again. Implying
He has used
that
it before.
he has used it before and knows how to fix it.
Well,
and now
no.
he's like, how do I use the VCR?
I don't think she's implying that he can fix it, just that he would try to press buttons until something worked.
何？タイマー録画でもするの？
Aoko walked over and crouched next to Soujuuro in front of the TV. The mirror that he had placed on the floor, conveniently...
いや、Kinomiからビデオを借りたんだけど。
まずテレビの電源が入ってない。
Yeah.
Have you made sure it's on? The glowing, the button at the side, is it glowing? No, the computer isn't on.
Yeah.
You need to turn the power on. With a click, the TV screen flickered alive.
次、チャンネルを外線に合わせて。
Oh, man. I remember all that.
意外にも真っ黒。木の実くんのことだからテープ頭から録画してると思ったけど。
Knowing Kinomi. You know about his video preferences, huh?
Yeah, that's
God, that green
concerning.
text in the screen.
That's
a...
it's a throwback, ain't it?
I know, wow.
Still though, what's impressive here is that they have a TV in the 80s that has a specific video input. Like, do you remember this where?
Oh, it used to be on Channel 3 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, well, it varied depending on TV as well. But,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It used to be that if you were going to plug an external device into the TV, like a VCR or like an NES or Super Nintendo or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
you would need
you didn't have a specific input. It took over one of the channels.
Yeah, you
so
had
you'd
to,
have
like...
to put it on like channel 3 or channel 4 or something.
Yeah.
In order to actually get the thing you were trying.
There was like an adapter that would trick the TV into thinking it was a TV channel or something.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a thing. That was on like the old RF connectors.
But yeah, it actually says video.
It does. It says it has a video input.
Yeah, maybe that was more common in Japan. It took a while to get here, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, Japan was sort of like an electronics leader as far as like home electronics and audio-visual stuff is concerned at this point in history. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they were a little ahead of the curve on that. Took us ages to get it though.
Oh my god, yeah. I remember those stupid fucking RF connections from the back of TV where you had to like unscrew the thing and then put the connector and screw the thing back down.
Yeah.
And then anytime you wanted to plug in your goddamn like NES, Super Nintendo, and 64 even had connections for RF.
Oh.
Like, you had to, like, unscrew whatever else was there. It was this whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Man, you guys who are only used to HDMI have no idea how good you have it.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you finally got composite, like,
Yeah,
input, it was like, revolutionary.
Oh,
you
yeah,
didn't have
even
to fucking
composite
unscrew
input.
shit anymore. It was great. You just plug and unplug stuff. And then, by that point, you had dedicated video inputs. So it was like, all right, sweet, just put it over to Video 1 or whatever, and we're good to go.
That was so much easier.
Therefore, it was only natural for people to not want to waste a single second of the tape's 120-minute capacity.
割と趣味には気を使う性格なのね。じゃ、早送りっと。
I see.
I also feel like 120-minute capacity in the 80s was pretty high.
Probably. Sounds kind of high.
I've got some old, like, recordable VHSs around here somewhere that I think those would have been 3 hour, but those were from, like, the early 2000s.
Wow.
Aoko picked the small remote up and quickly pushed the button marked FWD. That was short for fast forward, by the way.
Yeah.
The VCR beeped in protest.
Oh.
Kinomi did not be kind, is the problem.
Ah, it's at the end of the
It's
tape.
probably at the end of the tape. Yeah. Be kind, rewind, Kinomi. Come on, man. So, on VHS tapes, you couldn't just go back to the menu and start over.
There was no menu.
It was a physical tape. So when
Yeah.
you reached the end of it, you couldn't just start over. You had to literally rewind the tape back to the beginning.
It's basically a fancy scroll. You had to, like, actually physically move the scroll back to the beginning.
Like, you know how on YouTube you have the timeline, you can just click and jump to that point in the video? You couldn't do that on a VHS.
No.
You had to, like, drag the slider back, watching until you got to the bit that you wanted, and then overshooting it, and then hitting play, and having to watch a little bit more than you wanted because, you know, it was impossible to land right where you wanted every time.
Oh, yeah.
But then you'd not be patient enough for that, so you try to fast forward back to the bit that you just went past and go past it again, and you just do that for a while before you, like, got lucky and wasted more time trying to land exactly where you wanted than you would have gotten if you just started watching from the play.
That's what happens on YouTube if you try to adjust the feed in a 10-hour video.
You basically, right?
It's kind of like that. Like, okay, never mind, I'm just gonna watch.
With several clicks and thuds, there was an empty whir from within the machine. I have the problem if I'm playing YouTube video at double speed, because a lot of times what I'll do, like, if I see something and I want to go back and check it again, a lot of people don't know about this, but there's actually hotkeys in YouTube for skipping forward and backward 10 seconds.
Oh, there's a hotkey for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's actually a lot of YouTube hotkeys.
I figured there were some.
Like, K is play and pause.
Oh, I use spacebar.
Well, here's the thing about spacebar. Spacebar on YouTube will basically do whatever the last thing that you did was. So, like, if you clicked maximize most recently, you hit spacebar, it's just going to minimize. It's going to, like, take it back to window.
Oh, okay.
Like, it'll just do the last thing, usually. But K is dedicated play pause. F is full screen, not full screen.
Okay.
And J and K are jump back 10 seconds and forward 10 seconds, respectively.
Oh, that's useful.
But if you're playing it at double speed, it's 20 seconds either direction.
That's neat.
So, like, I'm so used to using it for 10-second intervals, I'll be playing something at double, and I'll skip back too far. I'm like, fucking goddamn it. Also, comma and period are advanced backwards and forwards one frame individually.
Yeah, I knew there was an option for frame, but okay, that's
it's not very useful when you're playing, but if you pause it and you want to, like, find something,
yeah,
like,
you're trying
if
to
you
get
saw
a
something
screen cap
flash
or
up
something.
real quick,
Yeah.
like somebody had like a 2-3 frame thing in there, or 2-3 frame like image.
Yeah.
You can pause it and just frame by frame back to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're reading comma?
Yeah.
Nice. That's useful.
Yeah, there's a lot of useful little fucking shit like that. Just people just don't know about. And I found by total accident over time.
I didn't break it.
I didn't break it, I swear. I'm not Rin.
No, Rin can use a VCR, so she's actually better than him.
The vast majority of people who say this are actually very prone to destroying electrical equipment, but that's a separate matter. You know what occurs to me? The second TV in here, that old CRT, that does have a button that I can just press to make it show the video input on the top right in green. It has the green text.
Yeah, it's still there?
Yeah.
Nice.
おまけに テープが入ってない。
Oh, you didn't put the tape in? As soon as the words left her lips, it all made sense.
テープ
Didn't you?
Soujuuro imagined adhesive tape, clearly confused.
宗十郎、木の実くんから何か渡されなかった？
渡されたけど、ほら、テーブルの
Oh
上。
my god.
Though she should have been used to it by now, she caught herself wondering if Soujuuro was being stupid deliberately.
木の実くんが何て言ったか覚えてる？
テープ貸してやるから、家に帰ったらビデオを見ろ、と。
Oh, totally. When you get home. Oh.
一番大事な言葉が抜けてたわけね。
Okay. So it's Kinomi's fault then.
失望を通り越して怖くなるわ。あっさり順応しているように見えてこれだものね。
Meanwhile,
そのあたりな毎日送ってんのよ。
Alice in the background is like, I'd like to go see the dolphins, please.
Yeah.
Exasperated, Aoko fetched the tape in question. Buxom Bombshell Babes Volume 3, huh? Interesting. It was labeled Wild Animal Kingdom African Adventure. Ah! So it's... Aha.
Probably.
It's porn.
I mean, no, I was gonna say it's probably like National Geographic.
Nah. It's like ebony porn. To Aoko, this knocked Hosuke Kinomi down a level on the ratings file she kept with the student council.
Why?
She was expecting it to be porn. Unknown to her, it is porn. He's just labeled it in a way that makes it not look like porn.
That would actually be interesting. I didn't think he was smart enough to do that.
で、このテープをデッキに入れて再生すればいいの。爪は折ってないから、録画ボタンだけは押さないようにね。
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So VHS tapes had a tab that you could break this thing and it made recording onto the tape not possible.
Ah.
So the tab here isn't broken, so if he records, he'll just go over whatever's on the tape.
Jeez. Yeah.
爪とは
Oh.
テープの側面にへこみがあるでしょ。これをカバーしているのが爪。
I'm
これを
starting to
切り
feel
取っ
like
ておくと、
Enya in that
もう
summer
そのテープは
camp
上書き録
event.
ができなくなるのよ。
He's like, oh yeah, VCR tapes for this, huh? Yeah, I know how all this works. And Ilya's like, what the fuck is any of this?
What is this magical nonsense?
What is this old stuff? Please don't say that.
Please don't call it that. Listen, VCRs and VHS were very common up through the early 2000s because DVD players were still expensive.
Right.
DVD players didn't get cheap and actually affordable until the early 2010s. Really?
Whoa.
To the point where they were you could just go out and grab one for $70 or whatever.
Oh yeah, if you wanted that, I guess.
There's still a few hundred to get up until that point. And so VHS, everybody already had a VCR, and so they were making VHS tapes for fucking ever. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, VHS.
Damn, really?
Yeah, that shit came out on VHS as well as DVD.
I had the DVDs.
So do I. I mean, yeah, so do I. But a lot of the Harry Potter films were on VHS.
I've seen those on
a lot of
VHS.
Lord of the Rings was on VHS. I think the Aragon movie when that came out on VHS as well as on DVD.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
mid 2000s. Okay.
Yeah, right through the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah, they were still doing
VHS
that.
was still pretty fucking common.
Huh.
And then DVD took over, and DVD started to really take off right about the time that Xbox and Sony, Microsoft and Sony, were busy having a fight over whether HD DVD or Blu-ray was the format for video game consoles.
Yeah.
That was about the time. Or the PS2 made DVDs really popular as well.
Yeah.
Because that was how a lot of people got PS2s, was a PS2 was literally the cheapest DVD player on the market when it came out.
Yep.
Like this, you have to understand.
Intentional pricing by Sony.
Sony priced the PS2 intentionally. It could play DVDs, and they priced it intentionally. It was the cheapest DVD player on the market, and it sold like fucking hotcakes because people that wanted DVD players were like, well, the PS2 is cheaper than buying a DVD player. And the kids that wanted a PS2 were like, Mom, Dad, it plays DVDs, and we can get it for like half the price of a DVD player.
Well, I don't know if it was that cheap. It was certainly less.
And so it sold like fucking wildfire.
I think it's like the most still the highest selling console ever, right?
I believe so, yes.
It's like the DS and the Switch are the only ones competing with it, really.
Well, the Wii, I think, came pretty close at one point as well, because the Wii was huge.
Yeah.
Like, the Wii captured a casual market that, like, no other console ever has, but...
Huh.
そうね。例えるなら授業のノート。
I believe the PS2 is still the top selling, but I think it was close for a while. Top selling game consoles. Fucking fix it for me. Thank you. No, that's video games. Consoles. Consoles. There we go. Cool. Right, so best selling. PS2 is still at number 1, followed by the DS, then the Switch.
Oh, the Switch beat the Wii. Okay.
Then the combined Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
Yeah, same cartridges, I guess. Well.
Then the PS4.
Wow, the PS4 beat the Wii?
Then the PS1.
Yeah.
Then the Wii.
Wow.
Then the PS3.
And then we finally get an Xbox.
And then we finally get an Xbox with the 360.
Wow. That sold more than the Game Boy Advance?
It did sell more than the GBA.
Damn.
It sold more than the 3DS.
Well, I'm not surprised there. That wasn't the best-selling handheld by a long shot.
Let's see. Bottom of the list is the Quest? Really?
Oculus Quest.
Oh, wait, the Quest 1, though. Where's the Quest 2? Is the Quest 2 separate? Have they listed
ColecoVision.
They've not listed the Quest 2 separately. That's fascinating.
Oof. Wii U is down there.
Wii U is down there. Wii U was a fucking abysmal failure.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot how bad that was.
Well, there's the Famicom Disk System, which... the Wii U sold better than the Oh, there's the Quest 2.
Okay.
Quest 2 is just below the Xbox Series X, which is just below the GameCube. Oh, Microsoft. Microsoft, oh no.
There's a reason Neptunia jokes about Vert's consoles not selling.
Yeah. And her not having a sister.
Yeah. Yep, never got into the handheld market. I know people joke about her adopting like a Steam Deck little sister.
ヒューマンエラーを物理的に防止するアナログな防御法ってわけ。
Well, it's been a while since we've had a new like mainline Neptunia. Like they had Sister v Sister a little while ago, but I think that was a spin-off. I don't think it was a mainline title. Probably. Well, I'm almost sure it wasn't a mainline title because it focused on the CPU candidates again.
Yeah.
They're just kind of, well, Nepgear at least is the butt of every joke in that series. Like, they did V2 and then Rebirth 2 when Nepgear got to be the focus, and then every other game in the entire franchise has just mercilessly ripped on Nepgear.
Ouch.
For reasons. I don't get it. Sad. Nepgear's the best girl and she gets punished all the time.